Olá, bom dia. Good morning, Portugal. Carl Munson here from expatsportugal.com. Tudo bem? How are you today? Have you had a nice weekend? Let me know how it's gone. I was looking forward to a week of blazing sunshine here in central Portugal. Looking out the window, it's not cold, but it's a bit grey this morning. How is it where you are? Lots of lovely people queuing up to say hello this morning. Bon dia, alegria from Paul and Louise in the UK. How are you both? Have a nice weekend. Normally, aren't weekends supposed to be relaxing? We're finding in our household that the weekend's actually busier than the week. It's nice to be back for a rest. Andy the Doc Thompson, hola todos, y bon dia. Let me just get this right. A bon dia, alegria, deleria, of course, from the Doc, who is in that part of the lower part of central Portugal. May I refer to it as that, Doc, in Leiria there, the wonderful city of Leiria. Bon dia, alegria from Maastricht, from Magdalena Hansma. Mike and Maggie, hello, Mike and Maggie, keeping our dream alive in these mad times. Absolutely, we got to do that. So many people saying good morning this morning. This is fantastic. Bon dia, alegria. Carl from Jersey in the United States. Paul in Yorkshire in the UK. Greetings from Aragat. Weather warmer but very windy. That's probably referring to the weather as well. Looking forward to the next fry up, Madeira style. Yes, this morning it's the food talk, the continuing food tour with Frank. Although always very unnerving when my guest suddenly disappears from the green room screen. So Frank's missing at the moment. Oh, he's back again now. We'll say hello to him in just a moment. But yeah, Paul's really looking forward to Frank's summation of the wonders of Madeiran food this morning. In England, when you're growing up in England, Madeira is a kind of cake, isn't it, that your grandma makes? So we can go way beyond that this morning. I've seen the pictures. They are extraordinary. And the birthplace of Cristiano Ronaldo, who's in disgrace this morning. Understandably, that blooming technology is supposed to make things better, isn't it? And Cristiano, number 7, a little bit upset from the weekend. Good morning, people. We'll see him later on this afternoon. Head gardener McGrady is here. Good morning, people. Rain is on the forecast. Boo! But although gardeners aren't too unhappy about that, because his lawn needs watering, for example. Catch Lee and the Fresh Air team later on 6:15 for our gardening Q&A that we do every Monday. Increasingly popular. It's because the weather's getting better and people getting out in their gardens, right? Good morning, everyone. Gemini is here as well. Good morning, Gemini. Very grey, but warmish breeze on the balcony in Leiria. He paints a lovely picture of life in Leiria there on the balcony. Edmundo, we're going to talk to Edmundo tomorrow. Taxi man Edmundo. We'll have our first chat with him tomorrow, saying good morning from the Algarve. How's it doing down there, Edmundo? Looking forward to talking to you tomorrow. Bon dia, alegria from a grey, overcast, cloudy Gardunya mountainside. How lovely. Good morning, all. Good morning, Pete and Diane. Good morning, Shelley, who says good morning all to us. Lower. It's the lower part of central, isn't it? Oh, dear, I'm in trouble now. A diplomatic faux pas. Bon dia, alegria from Gary Austin, who I have to say is as it turns out, an incredible filmmaker. He sent me some of his nature walk films, which I will premiere on Friday. Friday this week, of course, sees the panel discussion, an illustrious panel. The docs there, who we've heard from already this morning. Will Thompson, who was with us early on in the days of the Good Morning Portugal show. Will, an amazing mind and with incredible insights about what's going on with the COVID pandemic. He will join us as well, as will Prosecco Peggy, who has years of experience as an ICU nurse in the United States, now retired in the Algarve, and of course the wonderful Jenny B, who joins us for the occasional Feel Good Friday, a couple of those a month, with her view as we call her a reformed pharmacist. Somebody took offence to that. She is a retired former pharmacist. With a very interesting worldview, as all of you who know her will attest, I'm sure. But thank you, Gary. I'm looking forward to premiering your wonderful nature walk films Gary has a really special relationship with nature, and it's gone way beyond all the banter we were giving him about going and doing his nudist streaks around the forest and so on. I'm so impressed, and I'm so looking forward to sharing those with you on Friday. Nori Scott Fuller, bon dia from Lessa de Palmeira. How are you, Nori? Great to have your company. And a weather report from the Algarve. It's a bit grey but warm here. Yeah, I think that generally that's the case then across the country, it would appear. Sorry, I thought I saw a figure on the landscape. But warm here in Cabanas de Tavira. Enjoyed Louise's video at the weekend. Yes. I think Mrs. M has been featured on Expats Everywhere, showing me up, calling me out as the Portugal Pollyanna, with not a bad word to say. And she said to me after I'd finished my interview with Expats Everywhere, 45,000 views that's had. Do excuse me. There were things you didn't say to Josh. So I said, well, how about you talk to Kaylee then? And she did. And she's come up with all the things that the ladies prefer to talk about when considering life and living in Portugal. And very good it is too. So Expats Everywhere, you'll see Mrs. M on there. It was a good interview. It took me a while to realise Madeira means wood. Yes, that's so true. Peter, Donna's here as well. Bon dia. Looking forward to hearing what Frank has discovered for this morning's show. We all are, aren't we? And I do wish I'd eaten again. I realise again now that my tummy will be rumbling in due course, as yours will be, I'm sure, and your taste buds will be salivating too. Try and keep that under control if you can. Last minute division. Portuguese government decided 14 days quarantine for people originally from... What? Was this just in? So there is a 14-day quarantine. Check it out in the press. This is why we're in touch with Edmundo. Word on the street in the Algarve. So there, some news just in from the UK apparently. Southern part. Okay, did I say bottom part or lower part? Yeah, okay, southern part of central Portugal. Point of order, Chair. Received and noted. Morning from Hertfordshire, everyone. We're warming up here for the next couple of days. 21 degrees forecast tomorrow. Ian, you're going to be my guest. When are we doing that? Is it Thursday of this week? Growing old disgracefully. Ian will be joining me for I'm really looking forward to that. Aimed at our demographic, those who might be getting a little creaky would be one way of putting it, and he's here to talk about growing old disgracefully. Give us a little bit of a taster in the comments if you wish, Ian, that'd be awesome. And Prosecco Peggy, only have to mention her name to summon her up, and here she is. Bon dia, Prosecco Peggy is in the house. And just a couple more. Glad that the doc has finally seen the light and become a southern softie. He's going to love that. International travel ban in the Netherlands. What? From the 31st of March? Just as we all thought it was getting better, just as we were ready to celebrate and raise a glass to freedom on the 1st of May, there seems to be a bit of a plot twist developing here. Oh dear. Thank you for your kind words, Carl. I'm just an eccentric brummie who likes to get out and about. That's a really good description of you. Put that in your YouTube description. The eccentric brummie who likes to get out and about. And Penny. Hola, bon dia, alegria, Frank, Carl, everyone. Beautiful weather here today. So Penny, I think, has the best of it. Over there in Devon in the UK. Let's bring him on. My wonderful buddy, FD Devane, known to us here, of course, as Frank. How are you in wonderful Coimbra this morning, Frank?
I'm doing well. It's kind of great. I guess we're all experiencing the same kind of weather, right?
Seems to be this morning, yes. But I think
where did the microclimate bit go on this one? I was like, all right, so if I'm like half an hour away or an hour away from this guy, why is the weather not changing? But it seems from north to south, it's or as you may call from top to bottom, it's the same kind of weather, right?
Yes, it is, I'm afraid. But as we know in Portugal, within an hour, it could change entirely. By the time we finish the show, the sun may well be blazing and I'll feel overdressed with my 2 layers. I think it might be a sort of microclimate that is now so small it's disappeared, perhaps. So anyway, Madeira, I've got a little film I can play. One of my 1,000 things to enjoy about Portugal. Shall I set the scene with that, Frank?
Sure, why not?
All right. This is Carl Munson of Expats Portugal, and this is number 8 of 1,000 things to enjoy in Portugal. Madeira is one of the 2 autonomous regions of Portugal, the other being the Azores, and is an archipelago situated in the North Atlantic Ocean. Around 250 miles north of the Canaries and 320 miles west of Morocco, Madeira has a population of just under 300,000, and the capital, Funchal, is found on the main island's south coast. Prized for a very mild subtropical climate, Madeira has constantly proven itself a popular year-round resort, attracting nearly 1.5 million annual tourists. Claimed by Portugal in 1419 and settled a year later during the Age of Discovery and the adventures of Henry the Navigator, visitors love Madeira for its history, food, flora and fauna, and of course, its eponymous wine. Always like to use the word eponymous if I possibly can, and so we mentioned the wine. We've mentioned the wine already, and we saw some beautiful fried goods in there. Frank, are they featuring this morning?
Yes, they are featuring this morning. It's very interesting when you first look at an island like Madeira. You think of the beauty, and you think of how it got to be this beautiful paradise island kind of place. And then you do a little bit of research. Mine was going. It's a good thing you started with that bright, beautiful video, because mine was going to start a little bit dark. Because as I was researching for food and stuff like that, you get into, inevitably you start reading about the politics of the area and what ended up happening and why did it get to be this place. And it's had a very interesting history, the way it has developed. As you said in the video, 1419 is when Madeira was discovered. But it's got like the kind of history where through time people have tried to colonize it. There's this very interesting story about the Germans. Yes, our good friends, the Germans. I guess Her Majesty lost the toss on that one. The Germans, they decided to colonize it right before World War One, and the way they wanted to do it, they wanted to do some backdoor colonization of this place. So they told them that, hey, listen, you're very poor, we'll come over there and we'll build a hospital for you. Up right on top on the hills, we'll build a hospital, we'll do school and whatever, all that kind of stuff. So at first they said, yes, bring it in. What they didn't realize that the Germans brought their ships, and as the guy who was unloading everything in these wooden casks, he started realizing that this can't be building material. I know building material is heavy, but this can't be building material because this is just too heavy for it. So he suspected something. As he's taking up, he basically conveniently allows one of these wooden caskets to just fall down, and out come all the weapons that they were taking upstairs. So the idea was, and when they went and looked at the plan for the Germans, instead of just doing the hospital, what they were planning on doing is basically colonizing it from inside, and they had plans to have resorts, hotels, stuff like that they never told the locals. So obviously the locals kicked them out. They never finished the hospital at that time. They went and finished the hospital later.
What an amazing story. One of the oldest tricks in the books, isn't it? You know, we'll bring you medicine, or bring you a hospital, or bring you a nice church.
Or we'll bring you God.
Yes, exactly. Oh, dear. So well done, Madeira. And I'm reminded about this idea that when you grew up in England, when you think of Madeira, you do think of a cake your granny would make, and this is it. I've got the BBC, Her Majesty's own BBC, to remind us about this. And you might be familiar with this as well. I don't know if it's a Canadian thing or not, but Madeira cake so undersells the place, doesn't it? I mean, there's nothing wrong with grandma's cakes, especially when they're as beautiful as that. And it's a lovely, lovely cake to have with your cup of tea. But it so undersells and so sort of misplaces in the mind of people what Madeira.
I remember eating this cake. You're right. I remember eating this cake in Canada, and it's such a bad representation of the real Madeira cake, which is the bowl of the mail that we'll get into a bit later. It's right. A lot of the representation, I guess, kind of goes off. I've sent you some.
Sorry, go on. No, carry on.
I've sent you some interesting pictures because I wanted our viewers to kind of get an idea of this pearl of the Atlantic and kind of understand what this place is like. In your beautiful video, you showed the scenery. So the next few pictures are about the scenery, are about the proper heaven on earth that Madeira truly is.
Yep. All right. Let's have a look at that. All right. You sent me a cornucopia, an absolute abundance of pictures this morning, and they're
Yes,
great start to a Monday morning here on. Oh, look at that here on the Good Morning Portugal show. That's a beautiful place to fly into. I mean, I guess you're likely to be flying in, aren't you, rather than going by a
absolutely.
traditional cruise?
Or you try the German road.
Yes, and funnily enough, there. No, actually, stop it. Gary, it's not helping. All right, and I'll take that off the screen now. But there you go. Yes, look at the colours of Madeira. It's so far away from the beige of Grandma's cake, right?
So far away. And this is the old town of Madeira. And what they basically did is they have this project where they do art, door art. So as you walk along, there are painted doors all over the place, and which gives this town such a beautiful flavor. It's already got a lot of color, but this door art as you walk around gives it such amazing texture, visual texture.
Look at number 36 there. I mean, if you've had a little bit too much Madeira and rum when you're walking home in the dark of night, you see that big eye looking at you, that would hasten your pace home, wouldn't it? Incredible.
It's for the drink.
This is great. These are the doors of perception, the doors of perception of Madeira, and utterly
Absolutely.
informing our perception and understanding of. Look, there they
And
are.
this is the street. As you're walking onto the street, you get all this art near you. Now there are three main spots in Madeira, not just touristy. Three important things to see in Madeira. First of all, is this Mercado dos Lavradores, or Mercado Central, or market where farmers bring all their stuff.
Yeah.
And this market is just looking at the market from outside and inside. It's such a grand structure. The kind of food that is available over there. You look at the variety, and since it's a tropical island, kind of fruits that you might not even see in the mainland.
Yeah, absolutely. Isn't that a beautiful scene? And long may that continue. I mean, one of my real concerns at the moment is that whilst a lot of little shops, I mean, the markets are continuing in Portugal, thank heavens, at the moment during lockdown restrictions and so on. But the supermarkets, they're taking it in their stride. I mean, I'm seeing little shops closed down, and the likes of Continent going into building work. It's like, well, we can sit this out, no problem. We'll expand the cafe, we'll go up, we'll build upwards, we'll build outwards. And they're having not a fine time of it. That's unfair, but they are coping well. And we're in this unfortunate possibility of the lots of the little guys being put out of business whilst the supermarkets can just sit it out. I hope these sorts of pictures remain and are retained as part of Portuguese culture, because as you know, Frank, you're a big fan of the market at Coimbra. There, it's such a vital and important part of Portuguese life, isn't it?
It's the kind of commerce that you can fall in love with. It's the kind of local commerce that when you see the farmers, when you see what they do, and the Portuguese touch in it is always amazing. I don't know if you've gone to one of these farmers markets. As you're purchasing the item, and as you're let's say you've bought 1 kilo of oranges, what they'll do is right towards the end, they'll throw 2-3 extra oranges in there just for good measure. And it is so generous, and it's such a beautiful. It's just the act of doing that shows so much generosity and shows so much art.
Yeah, and none of this sort of games. I'm going to call it gamesmanship of something that you sometimes get with market traders and tourists. I mean, let alone tourism. I've been in Sheffield Market, and I think they've seen me as not being a regular or a local. Out front, you've got these beautiful fruits and veggies, and you say, "I'll have some of those apples or oranges or whatever," and they give you a bag from the back which isn't quite like the produce at the front. I've never experienced that in Portugal. That sort of sudden plot twist at the back of the market stall there. Really lovely experiences universally across the markets of Portugal. And yeah, real Portugal. You get a real flavour for the real culture when you go to these wonderful places. Look at those colours there. I'm guessing those what's hanging there, and I'm not quite sure what is hanging there from the top. That's the sort of thing that really excites you, Frank. Is that a bit of spice action going on there?
Yes, these are I think the local chilies that they've dried to they've hung to dry over there. This is there's so many exotic fruits and spices. Not as many spices because this island is primarily what they started with is a sugarcane bit. But the thing is, there's so much exotic stuff in the island that you will not see on the mainland of Portugal.
Incredible. And those lovely little bananas that we will come back to, of course. This gentleman, you may recognize him. He is from Madeira. Tell us about him.
You knew I was not going to miss out on this one. This is the best player on earth who played for the best football team on earth, Portugal and Manchester United. If you go to the next picture, this was his familiar pose as he played football. This was him right before scoring on Chelsea or one of those teams. And
he's not missed an opportunity. This is how Frank stands when he's about to go in the market. Is that right?
Yes, this is exactly my pose. This is my Cristiano Ronaldo pose. Right before I'm about to score some oranges.
There he is, triumphant there. Is that a meaningful picture?
Yes, it is a meaningful picture because the second spot to go to in the island is his museum, the Cristiano Ronaldo Museum, which happens to be a big, not only tourist attraction, but for fans like myself. Just avoid the statue right up front because they apparently did some guy missing an eye made a horrible statue of Cristiano, and I don't know. There's a picture of him looking at that statue and going, "Who is that? Why did you do this to me? I'm supposed to be a hero in these woods."
I wondered if you'd mentioned the statue because it is hilarious, and I'll see if I can find the picture before we go today. But it reminds me, in the Lionel Richie video of "Hello," and there's that.
Yes.
It has the same sort of texture and look of a great big piece of chewed bourbon biscuit or something. I don't know quite how to describe it, but it's pretty hilarious.
I think they took Lionel, gave him a bit of a trim and put his bust up there. It's just
that's
horrible.
That's what happened. Okay, so
it's horrible. And the third spot is their tropical garden on right up on the hill on Mont. These have endemic plants. This is a place that is it's like you hope the day you die when you arrive somewhere you'll see views like this. It's because this is just unbelievable, this tropical garden as you walk around it. And it's not even a touristy spot, like locals go over there. Can you imagine waking up in the morning, going for a walk, and this is what you're presented with?
Absolutely.
So
there it is. Actually, sorry, I've moved far too fast from this from this sort of Shangri-La that you were describing here. I mean, that is special, isn't it? I can almost hear celestial music there. That is superb. And look at the color of that sky. All right, so here they are in the old days then.
So this is the old days, and this is where the sad part comes in. This is where the slavery comes in, because the formula of slave trading and how to work the slaves was, if I may, perfected over here as far as sugarcane is concerned. At one point, Madeira was known for its sugarcane produce. It went ahead of Cyprus. It was the #1 place in the world producing sugar. So obviously, all the hard work was being done by the slaves. And as through the years, as the sugar crops were taken to Brazil, obviously the same system of taking the same slaves were actually taken to Brazil with the sugarcane plantations, and they started doing growing sugarcane over there.
I had no idea, Frank. Absolutely no idea that that was the case. You educate us so brilliantly on a Monday with the food tour, but this is a rather sort of dark part of the food industry for sure. Rather dark part really undersells that, doesn't it? I mean, it's a horrible, grim part of food production and the story of sugar. This perhaps is the fellow we needing to look out for. This rather sort of tubby gentleman with the hat and the moustache, who looks like he's the boss of the plantation, possibly. But that's awful.
This is the punch face who needs to be taken care of first.
Well, this is the fellow we still need to watch in life. Clearly, he's never far away, is he, from a bit of disaster capitalism, preying on other people's misery and misfortune. But thankfully, I hope we're living in a slightly more enlightened world now, where we're more concerned about what's going on behind the scenes. So yes, watch out for him and his like. And here we are. We're zooming into the sugar crop now, right? These are the sugar canes.
Sugar crop. Yeah. These are the sugar canes. This is these are originally the crops that they took to Brazil along with sadly these slaves.
Incredible. Okay, and now they are working in that crop. I mean, it is horrific. This is like, it lends itself to a horror movie, doesn't it? And the children of the corn and these long canes here. Yes, I'm getting chills just looking at this and thinking about that. Yeah, so what's happening here? Some more processing here, squeezing out.
This is the original. This is originally the way they used to process everything. So two guys used to go around, and then one guy was basically taking the sugar cane and juicing it, and then they were everything was done manually, and they would go. This is these poor folks' day. So 15, 18 hours minimum a day. This is what they were doing.
It's such a cruel irony, poetic irony, not poetic, just a horror of how it is that humans want more sweetness in their life from sugar. We love sugar, don't we, as a species? And it is our downfall in so many ways, as this picture shows. But the cost of some people getting sweetness in their lives is summed up in this one picture here, Frank. Horrific, absolutely horrific. But
this is the Mel de Cana.
Yes, I was switched onto this recently. Bought some. I mentioned, the big supermarkets. Bought some of this in Lidl, and it is a wonderful product. And I'm hoping the one I had, I think it was well provenanced and it wasn't premised on human cruelty. Basically, I don't think it was. But this is an interesting thing. Not bee honey, but the honey from the sugarcane.
Honey from the sugarcane. It's the way that it's I guess processed. It's the product itself. Just like because the island, the terra of the island, as you can imagine, the taste of the sugarcane, the juice itself would be different, and what you would get is a different kind of a product. It's similar to. In England, I know there's this product that is used. I've used it. It's like a green tin that is used. What's
golden syrup? Tate and Lyle's golden. Yes,
Lyle syrup. So this is the better version of the Lyle syrup.
Yeah, when I bought this, I noticed first thing that my spoon didn't stand up in it, that it was so sweet and so syrupy, like Tate and Lyle's golden syrup. I mean, it is a legendary product, probably based on a horrible history, as we've already outlined here. But this one, I would say, is halfway between, and I was having it in my tea, it's halfway between molasses and honey. There is a kind of a sort of rich molasses-like tone to this as well. So a really good product.
It is a very malty molasses kind of a taste, and this is what they make their cake with as well. This is the bolo de mel. This is what they call bolo de mel over there.
Okay, got it. Okay, so let's go back to a few comments. We're just going to leave this on the screen now. Madeira.best. I imagine this is some of the sort of tourist initiative that's coming from Madeira. Not that they need it, I don't suppose. It's just has such a legendary status around the world. Let's see who's in this morning. Ian's putting me right. He's on Wednesday. He's going to, of course, he's joining us for our Ask Anything About Portugal slot on Wednesday, hoping to show how to enjoy the better things in life while staying healthy, or to use a word I found this morning, increasing your health time. And we're chatting on Wednesday. Yes, so thanks, Ian. Looking forward to having a chat with you. Ian reached out, as many people do, with a lovely little idea. So easy, so accessible to come and join me on the screen here. And Andy's still smarting a little bit. Humph, southern Scotland is still north, and anywhere north of the Tagus, the Tejo there. So a little bit of north-south politics this morning. Pete Bleach wouldn't know. Don't go north of the river, mate. And you don't know what you're missing, says the doc this morning. Paul, your famous Carl, BBC radio announcer, talked about starting programmes, and he mentioned some radio stations start with a whistle tune. How different. Could only think of you. Yes, Paul, we do have that, and that's thanks to Pete Wilton Davies over there in Castanera de Pera. Good morning from Corrie. Thanks for that, Paul. Good morning from Corrie. Dyspraxis this morning. And I'm not going to read that again, Gary. Paul and Louise and Lottie. Edmundo, Diario de Noticias has a piece on the extension of rules when travelling from the UK. It includes a 14-day prophylactic isolation, even with a negative test result in place until the 15th of April. Goodness gracious. Good to know, though. Thanks for sharing that, guys. Maria Costa, hi from Tamar. Good morning to you, Maria, in the lovely Tamar. It was so sad. We were with the marvellous Farmer for Fun, that's Joseph, around the market in Fundao, and he was so sad to see it so empty. He kept saying, I wish you could see this full. We have to help with that. That is such an important part of local economies. It really is. Maybe that's an area we need to explore and support when the time comes. I think the time has come. I think we'll go and have another look. Market day today for anyone in Fundao. Okay, nice plug for the market. Monday market. That's interesting, isn't it? I was at our local market on Friday, says Maria, and Tamar bought honey. It turns out the honey is from 4 blocks away. There you go. So you had to drive further to the market than how far the honey actually originates from at your place there. Honey is a great part of the Portuguese culture. It really is. And you can buy it so close. And it has medicinal properties, of course, for you if you buy it local. It's going to help with your hay fever, allegedly. Bon dia from Joel. Hello, Joel. Man of the man. From Matosinhos. Happy Monday, my friends from Ree. Hello, Ree. How are you doing? Belated happy anniversary to you. My daughter has relocated to Lisbon. Question coming in for Frank. He does take questions. My daughter has relocated to Lisbon, Paco de Arcos, but finds it difficult to find Easter curry spices. Any advice, Frank? Shouldn't be too difficult in Lisbon, should it?
Not very difficult. Martin Moniz station right around there. There's a little Bangladesh. There is a little India right towards the back streets. There is a huge Amanyase that is full of spices. All she needs to do is come out of the metro station and everything will be around.
Superb, great recommendation. Martin Moniz station there in Lisbon. Reg Pello, bom dia todos, de uma Fátima nublada e fria. I don't know what that means, Reg. I think that will be translated for us. Are you any the wiser, Frank?
No, he's referring to Fatima.
Yes, I got that bit. Thank you. All empires, says Gary, were built on slavery, from the Egyptians to the Romans, Greeks, French, Spanish, right up to the British Empire. Unfortunately, modern slavery is not so identifiable. But we must do what we can, call ourselves civilized. We need to be eking it out, don't we? And not buying, for the first point, not buying things, but coming from that slavery. So good point there, Gary. And can we put empires behind us now, please? Wayne Barker. Honey. He's doing his kind of Homer Simpson. Honey. Gary, from the Midlands to the Midlands. Oh, I see. Yes, shout out from those Midlands folks from the UK and in Portugal as well. And Peter, what I loved about Madeira was the contrast of landscapes, from the black beaches, black sand, to the misty wooded inland. Beautiful botanical gardens, stunning. So a really good tourist report in from Peter there. And Joel, misty and cold start in Matosinhos, just outside Portugal, just outside Porto. What's wrong with me this morning? You beat me to it, Joel. Misty and what did I miss there? The origin of the word slavery is from Slav. Russians were many of those traded. Wow. captured on the Silk Road. I didn't know that. Learning so much this morning, not least. Thank you for that, Pete, a history teacher, of course. Thank you for that very much indeed, Pete. I'm sure you'll keep coming with those facts. Talking about Madeira this morning and the wonderful food, and I suspect wine at some point as well, with Frank here this morning. So we're looking at the fruit of Madeira, the best fruits they're suggesting.
Yes, this is an island known for beautiful, amazing fruits. I'm quite sure you have tasted the Madeira bananas. Usually, when you go to buy these bananas, I don't know what it is about these bananas. They've kind of got a sweet and sour kind of thing going, and especially if you were to cook with these bananas, we'll go and we'll have a look at one of the dishes. They do quite a bit of cooking. They do desserts. They even do that fish dish with this banana. And this banana is just, I believe this is the best banana I've ever had. It's got an unbelievable taste.
And they're I mean, they're not just sweet to taste, they're sweet to look at, because they're like little, it's half, maybe a third of the size of a traditional a banana from the West Indies, for example. And I buy them because it's good. Kids will take one of those big bananas and then bite 2 bites and then leave it to go brown on the or under the sofa or something like that. And I bought some on Friday, I think, to bring home. Bite-sized bananas. And I had a call with my mum, who's from the Far East, and I showed her these bananas. Oh, we used to get those back home in the Far East. They're so delicious. And she had a lovely memory, very sort of evocative in the way that you're describing there. People have a fondness for these, don't they? A very different taste. We could play best fruit bingo here. Have you had all of these things on here, Frank, on this lovely chart or this lovely map we've got in front of us?
Except when you go to the next picture, you will see the passion fruits. Obviously, I've tried the passion fruit. Have you had the passion fruit?
Oh yeah, I mean here, even in the mainland Portugal here, I was in a cafe and the waitress pointed out that there were these passion fruits hanging down from above us. Pulled one down, sliced it in half, and we're eating the maracuja right there and then. Absolutely wonderful. And again,
they're
alien.
I'm not surprised. A passionate guy like you not enjoying passion fruit will be just like out of it.
But we might come back and play some of that bingo a bit later on. So some very interesting things on there. But you are leading towards the oh no, not yet, not on the banana.
There are 7 different types of passion fruit on this island, and this is one of the varietals of the passion fruit. Putting 7 up there would have been completely crazy, and they all look beautiful. It's just that this particular varietal is amazing as well. You open it up, it's just like a very slim cup, and you just scoop everything out.
Oh, mouth is watering now. Official mouth-watering moment there. And there is a more traditional one that we would probably recognize. Yeah, get your spoon in there, and they're kind of alien, aren't they, in appearance? And absolutely, my mouth really is watering. Here they are. You'll have seen these in the supermarkets on mainland Portugal. The banana de Madeira, like a little hand, literally a little hand of bananas there with the blue banding, the blue branding.
It's like the small size Coke. It's beautiful. You hand it to the kid and you like finish that one.
Yes, dinky is the word, isn't it? And here they are growing on a tree here. How fantastic!
Yes, and these bananas just stunning. It's
watch out for the
Madeira. Like quite a few different varieties.
All right. So what is this?
This is the pineapple banana. This is the one I haven't had as yet. And if you were to go to the next picture, you will see what's inside. It's called the pineapple banana. And tasting this would be out of this world, I can imagine. Because the taste combination, they say, is exactly that. It's the pineapple banana flavor in this fruit. I'm quite sure you could make amazing desserts out of it, sauces. This looks amazing.
These are celestial fruits, Frank. You're talking about, how it looked like Shangri-La, a place you might one day wake up in if you're lucky, and then eating fruit like this as well. And talking of combinations, here we're moving into the Madeira wine now, and I'm thinking fruit and this would be quite nice.
Yes, this wine, it also came about as an accident. What they were doing is the regular wine they were going and sending in these ships. and apparently one or two casks came back unsold. And because they had been out on the trip in hot weather, been moving around, when they tried this, the result of the wine, they were really, really impressed. So what they started doing is this process. It involves heating the wine and deliberately exposing it to some levels of oxidation. So it has a very long life, at times decades or centuries. You'll find a bottle somewhere in the island, some guy like you or I, walking around with 2, 3 bottles, you drop one over there, and then a century later, somebody finds it, say, oh, it's Frank's bottle.
Yes, and it's sold at Sotheby's for thousands. Fantastic. Look at these. So these are the ones that are being stored out there in the sunshine.
Out there in the sunshine. This is different from how a regular wine is done. They've got 3 different methods. I was actually thinking on the wine club, I'll probably do, since I've done quite a bit of research on Madeira wine, I'll probably do a whole Madeira wine thing on one of our groups. I guess we have it, right?
And what can you say about the taste? Have you had much of this, Frank?
Yes, I've had it once or twice, and it's like an aperitif, digestive, sweet. I've had it with dessert, but a lot of folks say that you can just have it as regular drinking wine. It's not that big of a deal, but I guess the sweetness somehow at some point, with the sugar high, would be unbelievable on this one.
And that's why my inkling there, maybe to have a beautiful, fresh cut fruit salad of Madeiran fruit with a little glass of Madeira wine would be quite a nice finish to a meal, or a meal in its.
As a matter of fact, making a fruit salad and drizzling a little bit of Madeira wine on it.
Oh, yes. Now you're talking. Okay. And we're moving into rum territory because Madeira, of course, is also famous for its rum and rum bars. I think there are some themed bars there, aren't they, that work on this rum punches that are also famous from Madeira, yeah?
The rum punches, and as you've just mentioned, the term punch comes from one of the drinks called poncha. Over there, I'll get into the drink right towards the end because it's a classic drink.
No way.
It's got a lot of history.
The word punch is from a Portuguese word.
Yes, poncha. That's the drink from Madeira.
And so many gifts to the world. Quite incredible.
Yes.
And these bottles are really special, aren't they? With this kind of stencil effect on the labels.
I found them to be just classic looking, man. Just look at these bottles. You don't even care about the content. You're just like, all right, I'll go to bed with one of these. These are so beautiful.
And that conjures up a beautiful picture of you snuggling up like Laurel and Hardy, or you and me like Laurel and Hardy with our little bottles with their stenciled labels. Like, Okay, so here's a bit of aging going on, I think.
Yes.
This time out of the sunshine. Okay. So we're moving into some sizzle now.
We're moving into what I call is the rock star of Madeiran food. If it's the churrasco, this is the espetada Madeirans, which basically is beef cubes. These are beef kebabs done in bay leaf. Bay leaf stems. Wow. And salt, garlic. Sometimes they also marinate it in Madeira wine and combination of red wine, marinate it, and then put it on there on the barbie, and you're good to go. This is the tenderloin. It would very likely be the tenderloin cut of beef. Very, very smooth. Very, very delicate, and obviously extremely delicious based on the ingredients.
So some bay in that mix there, and that's unusual, isn't it, to get the beef on the barbie, unless it's in a burger or a steak. But here, and I can hear Gary and the Brummies in the house this morning say, "All right there, kebab," because that is one of their greetings. "All right there, bab," and in this case, "All right there, kebab." That looks fantastic.
And this is where the sort of Moorish influence comes from, because this sort of kebab making and this sort of technique with like the little brochettes is very Moorish.
All right, so we'll have a look at some comments and come back to the pictures, which I clicked in the wrong part of the screen and I've lost lost the pictures for the moment. But and what an absolute abundance of visuals we have this morning, and you wouldn't be surprised to see that with Madeira. With it is so rich visually, isn't it? You know, I mean, it's a feast for all the senses, I think. But visually,
not just the main ingredients, the side ingredients are so amazing, and they do so many different things. In mainland Portugal, a lot of these items are not available.
Okay. So nublada e fria, misty and cold. That's excellent. In Fatima this morning, Joel beat me to it. That's what beat him to it. Okay. So new bit of vocabulary, nublada, which I do think we need on these spring mornings. It does start in it can start in a misty way. So fria, we know, of course, nublada. New one for our lexicon and for our vocabulary this morning. Thank you very much. Who was it who shared that with us? Reg. Good morning, Reg. And thank you for that. Charlene Martin. Thank you from Martin Moniz. But you spoke so fast. Please repeat. Martin Moniz. I will put it in the comments for you, Charlene, this morning. Don't worry about that. Called into Funchal on a few occasions while taking the Queen's shilling. Always remember, that's with the British Navy, I suspect. Always remember how good the food and weather were. Such a beautiful place. Can you imagine that? I mean, you know, Portsmouth is a special place for British sailors, but not quite as pretty, I suspect, as sailing in and out of Funchal there. Peter Bleach, a natural climate for they're still going at it with this north-south thing. What is it about humans and north-south? Is it like the apple banana from Hawaii, Frank? Would you know?
I'm not sure, but it sounds like it. Whenever there are these tropical islands, whenever there's a tropical climate, you get these very exotic fruits. So I'm quite sure it must be very similar to something from Hawaii, because Hawaii also has amazing fruits.
Thanks, Frank. Thanks, Shelley. New tag name, Peter Turch, from Gary there. We are at that level of familiarity in our community, I think, where we can give each other nicknames. I think we have in some ways already. Bananas from Madeira, beating the stereotypical myth that bigger is better. Lol. Says Joel. Very good. Yes, small is beautiful, of course, is the other stereotypical myth. And there's some truth in that, isn't there? Talking of empires, let's bear in mind small is beautiful. A guy in the Seychelles told me that there are over 44 different types of banana. Look at him chucking that. A guy in the Seychelles. That's
nice one, Garvo.
Nicely worked in there.
And by the way, Garvo, 30 of those varietals are probably in Brazil, because I've seen them.
Oh, nicely done. Like bananas. Yeah, I didn't see those on Sheffield Market. I can't keep up with the Seychelles and Brazil. The bananas are fascinating. Not only are they herbs, says Pete. He is Pete the Teach, living up to his new nickname. Also, the plants actually move. And great analogy, Joel. Did you know that? Did you know it was a herb, strictly speaking, Frank?
No, really. Pete is really doing something to my education this morning.
He's in our pub quiz team. If we have pub quiz, I think the Expats Portugal team will just trounce every other expat group across the web. Really, with this level of knowledge that we have among us. Love seeing all of these beautiful pictures, says Maria this morning. Good morning. I was wondering if Madeira offers any farmers markets. Absolutely, Gulson. You've just seen it there. Frank singing the praises of one of many, I suspect. At some point, the whole British Navy depended on fortified wine from Madeira as it was part of the wages for sailors. History is fascinating. Thank you, Jean van der Beek, for that. And the British Navy do like that coastline, I think, don't they? Coming from all the way down Portugal and out there to north of the Canaries, I think there. The Rum Nation, Jean van der Beek, only ended in the Rum Ration. I do beg your pardon. I thought it was a book or a documentary called The Rum Nation, or that could be a euphemism for the Navy itself, couldn't it? The Rum Nation only ended in 1970. For the rum and baccy allowance. I won't mention the other part of the allowance. You do the Madeira, Frank, and I will do the Moscatel one day to really stir up some dessert wine challenges. That's a special, isn't it? The dessert wine challenge. We could do that all in one show. Saman, hello from Nepal. Good morning to you, Saman. Goods, and yes, lots of own produce can be bought here at farmers markets. If you think of selling to make a living, forget it. Everyone produces food galore. Yes, you're gonna have to be careful growing food to sell here. You probably won't retire on it, but maybe, hopefully, that's not your intention anyway. It's where we got married in the Seychelles. How lovely! I can imagine you in a nice linen suit there, maybe some 3/4 trousers and a nice cheesecloth or linen outfit on the beach there. That would have been beautiful for the Austins, I'm sure, in the Seychelles. The pineapple banana, if enjoyed. Oh, sorry. If enjoyed too early, it's like ants marching on your tongue. That's a general thing with bananas, isn't it? I mean, it sounds like the pineapple banana is especially fierce, but if you eat an unripe banana, you do get this effect on your tongue. Have you ever had that, Frank?
It's something you want to forget very quickly,
Yes.
and you just want to put the banana down. But now you've opened it, and now you got to do something with it.
Yes, absolutely. Enjoy that potassium. Maybe it's like mainlining unripe and truly rich potassium source there, and you can feel it like ants marching on your tongue. Amazing, Sue. Thank you for that. Thanks, John. I'm interested so I can buy directly from the farmer and avoid the supermarkets when buying fruit, vegetables, or even fish. Absolutely, Gulson. An aspiration we all have here, and I'm really all for it. Grog rations. Uproar when it was ended. Yes, you can probably look back into the microfiche, if they still have that in libraries, 1970, and the great almost rebellion of the British sailors when the rum ration was ended. I wouldn't have wanted to be the senior officer who had to break that news to people. So there you go. Let me bring these images, these beautiful images that Frank has brought us back onto the screen. All I've got is a black screen at the moment there. Is that any better? Yes, so we're back.
Yes. The brochette.
With the lovely espetada, which is worth ordering in Portugal wherever you go. If you see on the menu espetada, you are looking at kebabs there. That's beautiful, really lovely. Bit of salt or some sesame seeds, and I'm not sure which. What are these, Frank?
These are called limpets, lapas. And they are, I think, cousins of oyster. This is the only way I can describe these. They're like aquatic snails. They've done very simply lemon and butter. They have very strong sea taste, very, very simply done. And apparently they're very, very nutritious.
Yes, I can see that. Wow. And did you say oysters, like Nat King Cole says it there?
Yes.
Yeah, like Sean Connery would share it as well. Give me half a dozen oysters. Okay, so look at these. These are the bolo, aren't they?
Traditional bolo de caco from Madeira. These I found them interesting. I was wondering why they call it caco. Caco is the stone that these breads are baked on. And the interesting thing about these breads, what I found very interesting is you can slice them open, make like nice sandwiches. They are unbelievable. They must be unbelievable as far as prego is concerned. Making a nice beef prego with this. Usually, what they do is they do garlic and a butter thing. You have it right next to whatever your main meal is, your kebab or whatever. But they look unbelievable. These breads.
I'm having a technological chaos in the background here. I don't know.
We all have technological chaoses. You dropped at the right page with Cristiano Ronaldo if you were to get somewhere.
I didn't think that would disappoint you. So we'll be back to the kebabs and now the bolo de caco. Okay, so yes, it makes a really good burger bap, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It looks ready for a sandwich, this one, somehow. Yes. You open it up and just make a beautiful sandwich. I'm quite sure they've gotten creative with these buns.
But there's a bit more going on here with this one. Has this got some sort of garlic bread or something?
Garlic bread, yes. They do their own version of garlic bread. These are served to you along with your mains.
Beautiful. Okay, so another dish to savor, and I can see a clove in there. I think I'm recognizing a bit of clove.
That It's clove, and then you've also got rosemary in this one for some reason. Usually, this is carne vinha de alhos, which usually is pork, small cuts of pork meat. They are marinated in garlic, in white wine, red wine vinegar, bay leaves, paprika, and then they are cooked with some potatoes. It's not necessarily a stew; it's kind of dry, but it's what they say is they usually marinate this for 2 or 3 days at times.
Beautiful. I'm just thinking, where are the clams? Because it is leaning towards the Alentejo pork and clams there, isn't it? Certainly to look.
It, it is, but I'm glad on this one they kept it to the meat itself, and this is where what your milho frito is, the fried cornmeal polenta fries.
Oh wow! I thought that was potato. So we got cornbread. We got oh, okay, that thing going on there, polenta. Fantastic.
This is the traditional fried cornmeal that is also served to you along with the bread, and this is another one of the sides. This is why I like the variety of it. The only thing with this one is because it's cornmeal, it would probably soak up a lot of oil. Not that most of us are worried about it, but it must be, and anything that soaks up a lot of oil will obviously be very tasty. So maybe an air fryer with this one would be good.
Or just use good oil, which is a reminder. Watch Ian Turner and myself on Wednesday, Growing Old Disgracefully, balancing this sort of indulgence out with some exercise ideas. Stomach definitely rumbling, mouth watering. We do this to ourselves every Monday with Frank here on the food tour of Portugal. We're in Madeira this morning, and what's this? Ah!
This is precisely the reaction I expected from you, drama queen. This one is the scabbard fish, and I remember Paul had said something about. That's why I put this image first, because I'm quite sure. Doesn't this look like the character, the alien character from the movie? This is exactly that shot where the alien is moving towards Sigourney Weaver.
Yes, that's right. Sigourney would probably not order this in Madeira, to be fair. If she was
would not order this. She would have nightmares. And this is why I put it up, because I'm quite sure Paul has not, I don't know if he has seen the fish head itself, but if he would see this, then 1 or 2 pictures down the road, you will see the finished dish. And this is the classic dish of Madeira. It's breaded or battered, the flesh of the fish with a banana, passion fruit, and very nice custard sauce, apparently.
Well, it reminds you probably not to go swimming as well, doesn't it, in Madeira? Hopefully they're a long way offshore, but anyway.
Because if you get away from the piranhas, you've got these things.
Exactly, and I mean that is an incredible set of teeth, isn't it? Extraordinary.
What are they eating? Like what were they grinding with stone? Like what's going on with these fish?
I mean, it lends itself to a sort of Mr. Bean on holiday in Madeira, running from the sea with one of those attached to his bottom.
Do you remember dogfish? It's one thing I'm realizing in Portugal is that the food is amazing, obviously, but some of the fish is not just ugly; it's fugly. You look at these fish and you're just going, yeah, you had to be taken out. I'm sorry, you're like really ruining the water for everyone.
Hats off to the early Portuguese who looked at it and thought, no, hold on a minute, don't put it back in. I know it's a horror to look at, but we've got to try and eat it. We've got to see what it tastes like, see if it tastes as bad as it looks, and then lo and behold, they find out that it doesn't. The scabbard fish here with a we have to admit, a tired-looking banana draped across it, languishing over the scabbard fish steak there, and a lovely bit of grated carrot, and that's a very traditional bit of garnish salad, isn't there, in Portugal, with the flat leaf lettuce and some grated carrot and a solitary olive.
Yeah,
I could eat
that'll
that.
do for a salad.
Yeah, I got to eat that. Look at it, and there is the banana again. So we've got the fish, and we've got some maracuja, I think, going on there, right? And again, the relaxed banana laying across it, begging to be eaten.
You would never think this would be an amazing flavor combination, but apparently it is. It's with this banana, and it's with the custard sauce, with the passion fruit sauce. Apparently, this is delectable. This is an amazing dish. The next one is always the pesce espada, the swordfish roe, or the eggs. They're breaded and then they're deep fried, and then you can dip them. They've got like sauces on the side, and you can have these. They are, if you're into swordfish roe or any kind of fish roe, this would be amazing. Are you into that? This looks like it's right up your alley.
Yeah. You can see from the look on my face, I really enjoy roe. And yeah, cod roe. At home, if you can ever buy it from the fishmongers. Yes, I have eaten it in Portugal, made it at home, but yeah, just fried in the pan. These are the little treats, aren't they, that the chef might enjoy before preparing the main meal. And I'm thinking of with chicken hearts. I do like chicken heart and chicken liver that might come with the chicken, and just frying that up with some butter and salt and pepper. Same thing here with the cod roe. Just fry it up a little whilst you're preparing the rest.
I'm very impressed with you, Carl Manson. You're like a very. I like the kind of eating you do. This is very impressive.
Well, I'm delighted that you're impressed with that. That's quite an accolade for me. So what have we got on here? So are we in chicken territory now?
No, it's the same. It's the same. It's the same fish roll, deep fried. They've got like a few different ways that they do the fish roll.
Do like that, yes. If I ever go to Madeira, I might try and emulate that at home. That is a nice looking dish. Like that one a lot, Frank. Okay, and there's some more of it, obviously. It's looking a bit Chinesey there, isn't it? In its
it does, doesn't it? Like with the little folia, the little what's that? The dumplings that are fried?
That's right. Yeah, the crispy coating on there, and
the crispy coating on there,
and the garnish as well. Looking good. Okay, so are we moving into sweet territory now?
Yes. Now this is what the Madeira cake should have been. This is the Madeira cake we should have been eating back home.
We were absolutely robbed. Yes, of course. This is Madeira cake, not that pale looking thing that we showed you earlier on.
Yes, this is the Madeira cake. I believe we obviously did not get access to it because we did not have the Madeira honey or the sugarcane honey.
Yes, and that's
this is the
color. Yeah, okay, got it.
That's the main ingredient in it. That gives it the color. That gives it the very molasses kind of taste. What they say is this particular cake, you don't cut it with a knife, you just break it with your hands. It's apparently it's very dense. It's a beautiful heavy cake with some nuts and cinnamon. It's very, very simply done. Their tradition is very, very simple. It's a very I believe this would be the cake that would be very Christmassy.
Yes, absolutely. So quite heavy, maybe another little snifter of Madeiran wine on the side there. Before we get too far into the sweets, let's go back to a few comments. I'm not so keen on the limpets. They looked good, Beverly, I thought, but yes, maybe not for you. Maybe a bit too sort of oysterish and sea flavored, perhaps. Instead of reaching for the antacids when you have indigestion, try banana instead, because they are alkaline and can help as an antacid. Nice one, Gary. Maria Costa.
Dr. Garbo.
Garvo. Lapos are super popular on my birth island, Flores. I forgot about that. Yes, of course. We also had a lot of them in Vancouver, BC, where I grew up. That's fantastic. Good to know, Maria. Thank you. Donna, eating lapos is like dining on salty rubber. So not a fan. Some folks even eat them raw. Yuck. I would go for it. I would go for raw with a little bit of, a ceviche style, bit of lemon juice on there. Definitely. You and me both, eh, Frank? Risking sort of early food poisoning in the trip. This fierce-looking scabbard fish cooked with Madeiran banana is nice, and steak cooked on a hot stone. Steak on hot stone, a Madeiran thing, perhaps again. Gulzen fish are somewhat of an alien breed in Madeira, says Jean van der Beek. Yeah, looking at it, Frank's absolutely right. It's a scene from Alien. Nutter fries, is that what you call them? The little cornbread ones, the polenta ones?
They're not called nutter fries. They're called milho frito.
What's happened here is the POLE. He didn't type that bit in. That's the end of polenta, isn't
Ah, polenta fries, yes. Milho
it?
frito polenta fries.
Deep fried nata. Now
We get you, Doc. We're in there with you.
there's the thing, because we haven't talked much about Scottish cuisine. I don't think Scottish people like people talking about this, especially. But the deep fried Mars bar could come to Portugal as the deep fried pastel de nata. So you could dip that pastel de nata in batter, chuck it in for a couple of minutes in the hot fat, and end up with a battered pastel de nata. I would. Bit of salt on it. Bit of salt would be the key to that. Would you,
Did I
Frank?
hear that right? For a second, I thought you heard Portuguese. Oh, sorry, Scottish cuisine.
Scott. Yes, relax.
Oh, there is. Oh, okay.
He's only kidding. I remember returning haggis, Frank. Come on. I remember returning from the Antarctic. Listen to these stories of people in our audience here on the HMS Endurance and doing a courtesy trip to Madeira. Of course, the old courtesy trip. I'm sure we were all well stocked with Madeira wine for our trip back to the UK. Bonded in brackets. Superb, William. Thank you for piping up there. That's fantastic from William Ogilby. Some great tales to tell from the high seas, I'm sure. Yes, polenta. We got it now. Oh, look, it's my cousin. Is he talking about the scabbard fish? I wonder. Yes, I think you are.
Don't be like that.
Come on, Joel. Jean van der Beek, fish in Madeira is delicious, says Gulls. And people are loving it this morning. A lot of love for Madeira in our audience. I knew there were better looking members of your family, Joel. Oh, Doc.
Oh, talk.
Oh, if you want to see an alien, look up the horseshoe crab. Used to have one in a tank. Of course you did. Awesome when it came out. A gay alien horseshoe crab as well. I didn't know that you used to keep fish, and one of them came out. Amazing. Or crabs, I should say there. Yeah, they definitely are not from the mother's side. Holy cow, that's a hairy looking fish. Reminds me of the alligator gar when we catch them here in Florida. Amazing. Those black fish must be related to barracuda. Who knows? I don't know. Have we got a marine biologist among us? Alphas, Isanura, very good. Yes, the old lettuce and carrot combo. It's very good, says Edmundo, the scabbard fish. People are loving this. Maracuja. Sorry, I clipped my vowels there, didn't I? Maracuja. Thank you very much, Donna, for that. Always happy to take some notes on pronunciation. Yummy, says Denise. Hey, Mrs. Vengeance, how are you this morning? Looks like Panforte, says Sue. I think about this cake. They also have a great rum festival. Love Madeira. Yes, absolutely. Lots of love for Madeira this morning. The limpets are very chewy, like eating an inner tire tipped in garlic. You're not selling it, Beverly. You're not a fan. I'm going to try that cake, says Vinny this morning from Project Frugal. And try making it over there in New Zealand. How amazing. Yeah, you'll be able to get a recipe for that, I'm sure. And Pete used to have crabs. Only one. Let's have some journalistic integrity here. Just the one, as I understand it, Kerry. Okay, back to the pics then. And this wonderful cake here and another angle on it there, just so that you can see the rich texture of this thing of beauty from Madeira, and a top view, I think, now as well. Yeah, there it is, right? Oh, that looks really beautifully home baked as well. You know, there's not a massive amount of, British Bake Off winning finesse there, but who cares? That looks delicious, doesn't it?
It's rustic. This is the charm of a lot of Portuguese cuisine. It's rustic.
What you see is what you get. And let's move on now to a different kind of confectionery. What's happening here, Frank?
This is the queijada. It's filled with cottage cheese and egg yolks and sugar. This is, I believe, one of the things, because remember we were talking about the convent sweets. This is one of the convent sweets because the nuns obviously over there don't have much to do as well. So this is what they've come up with over there. It's pretty much the same idea from what you get on the mainland. It's just the cottage cheese from there.
That sounds amazing. And to be fair, worshipping the Lord and worshipping food is not a bad combo, is it?
It's
Let's
the best combo ever if you
Yes,
want to get into it.
yep. And is that's another angle on the same delight there
Yes.
with a lovely doily as well. Loving the doily.
Mhm.
Okay, and the maracuja is coming into that.
The maracuja mousse. There's so many different ways they do maracuja over there. This is the maracuja mousse that is readily available almost everywhere. Just like pastel de nata, maracuja mousse is available everywhere on the island.
Maracuja mousse sounds like a cartoon character as well. Here is a nice slice. Is that a sort of a different
Maracuja pudding.
pudding? Maracuja pudding, of course. Maracuja several ways this morning. And
Several ways.
there we go, a slice of it there with the seeds, which can get stuck in your dentures. Be careful. And then
So
what are we?
now we're on to the poncha.
Oh, so glad. Okay, what's
This
going on?
is this is this is the punch, which is usually not only does the term punch come from here, the fruit punch. This also was the start of the Brazilian drink. I don't know if you have ever had that drink called caipirinha.
I have. It was suggested I should start the day with one a little while back.
You should always start this. Caipirinha should be a breakfast. You will have a very long day, but it'll be a beautiful breakfast, and you won't remember much of it. This is pretty much the start of caipirinha right here.
So what's in
Honey,
it?
sugar, orange juice, the aguardiente de cana. Not much to it. There are some different variations. If we look at the next picture, you will see that this is also done with maracuja. There's this guy with a little muddler who is it's the muddler is called Caralhinho, and he's like smashes the maracuja or the fruits, put some aguardiente on there, put some honey on there, a little bit of orange juice, a little bit of lemon juice, and you've got this in front of you.
So not very sweet then.
Not sweet at all. No sugar rushes from this.
Okay.
And this is the preparation for this very traditional poncha. This is the traditional one without any fruits.
Okay. What a tremendous gift to the world then. Punch coming from the Portuguese word poncha there, and a little recipe for you folks. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, and we can't leave without mention of other drinks. Is this the
It's their
beverage?
soft drinks.
Bridge.
The beverage of Brisa, beverage of choice. This is the big brewery over there. They do apparently they do their own fake cola, and they do the Sprites. They do everything over there. One thing I realized about Madeira, as I was looking through a lot of the items, they take ownership of everything. So if it's going to be what we call pop or soda, it's going to be my soda. That's going to be shown first, which I really like about this island.
Proud island, proud nation. And here we go. This is their famous beer then, the Coral.
Famous beer, Coral beer. This one gets served ahead of the Sagres or the quintessential beers that you see on the mainland. This one is from 1872. This beer's been going strong. This is the king of beers in that island.
Incredible. Okay, and there's another view of it there. In the glass, Coral Nossa, our Coral beer. Amazing. Frank, you have done us proud again on this wonderful tour of Madeira. So good. I mean, your research is so wonderful, delightful, joyous as we celebrate food from around Portugal. Have we decided what we're going to do next week? Are we sort of elevating this into other territory, aren't we? And maybe moving away from regions and more into a different vibe on this?
More of a different vibe. There's a lot to do with Portuguese food, and it's very interesting. Almost every other day, you find something new when you go into a small microclimate or when you go into a small region. But I thought, like we've also got Azores, which is another island that we can do. They produce a lot of dairy products. Amazing food in that area as well. So we might go there, or we might change the direction of food and make it more international. as it relates to Portuguese foods. Might do restaurants. The only thing is, as the restaurants start opening and whatever, we can get in touch with some more chefs and go into their kitchens and see what kind of food they're doing, even international food. That would be amazing.
That will be wonderful. Fantastic. Okay, and we're taking requests as well. Last few comments then this morning. Great job, Frank. Thanks so much. Also, love the passion fruit. There are about 25 delicious varieties that you can taste, try for free at the indoor market in Funchal. Incredible. I mean, they're so marvelous to look at as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Cheers later all from Joel. Cheers, Joel. He's on his way there. And cheers, Joel. Always a giggle. Garth always, as always, right. I had many crabs, actually, not just the one, but they hardly ever came out and were difficult to feed. I mean, they're bottom feeders, aren't they? Don't they just like to feast on an old bit of rotting flesh or something? Caipirinha in the morning, one might be good. More than one is lethal, says Ian. Thank you for that health warning there, Ian. 1970s cookbooks were modelled on Madeira's cuisine. It's so many gifts to the world. Fantastic. And great job, guys, from Ree there in Florida. Thank you so much, Frank.
Thank you.
Okay, and we will see. I'll just give you a couple of highlights for the rest of the week. As we've said there, Ian Turner joining us on Wednesday for Growing Old Disgracefully. He's not going to be all gloom and doom about, what you should be. Don't do this, don't do that. What he's talking about, as I understand it, is like enjoy and live your life. I mean, there's no way I would do a gloom and doom exercise or health slot on the Good Morning Portugal show. This is about living a great life in balance, and Ian's got some ideas for us how to complement our existing lifestyle, I think, rather than saying, oh no, you don't do this, you don't do that. So looking forward to having a chat with Ian. Tomorrow morning we have Raphael on, who I saw a little post on Facebook recently or somewhere on social media talking about, wouldn't it be great if we got out of offices and we worked in more rural circumstances? A man after my own heart. Had this idea when I first got to Portugal a couple of years ago, sent in my presentation that I did. We'll have a look at it tomorrow in the Cockerel's Coop, the business idea of, it's to do with a digital nomad thing, being able to work in a more natural environment. I mean, what are offices about? I think we've broken our addiction to the office, haven't we, in these last months, or it's certainly in the last year. So we're looking at a model for working more naturally, and maybe a network of these natural workstations, or more natural workstations all over Portugal. So Raphael will join me to talk about that tomorrow, and he's based down there in the Algarve. And we'll have a quick chat with taxi man Edmundo as well. The word on the street. If you want to know what's going on anywhere, ask a taxi driver or a hairdresser or the guy in the cafe. We're talking to Edmundo tomorrow morning for the first time. How about a tour of the various cuisines of the ex-Portuguese colonies? Now, that's a very good request. We could go that route, couldn't we? And Beverly Memon, thanks, Doc, for that. Cheers, Frank. Amazing show as usual, Carl. It's our pleasure. And all I had to do was basically turn up this morning and mess up the technology whilst Frank shared with us his absolute love and passion for food, especially Portuguese food this morning. So take care, everybody. Bye for now, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning, and of course tonight at 6:15 with head gardener McGrady for the gardening Q&A. If you're getting more into your gardening, join us, ask questions. If you know a lot already, join us and help out the noobs on the gardening Q&A. Take care. Bye for now. Cheers, Frank. Muito obrigado.
Cheers.